Welcome to the Natural Way of Being video blog. This video is titled, Do You Believe It's Possible? So it's less than a month until springtime. It's less than until the first day of spring. And in my tradition, on the medicine wheel or wheel of life, springtime is a time of new beginnings. So it's a time that we start thinking about what we want to create in the coming year. Once we come up with something, which is its own process, we often start bumping into what I call limiting self-beliefs. So what that means is what are my beliefs around the thing I want to create? And one of the most obvious but yet overlooked self-beliefs is, do I believe that it's possible for me to have the thing that I want to create? So let me give you an example. So say you want to create a relationship, a loving relationship, and you have ideas and the elements of what you want to be in this relationship. You've thought about it, and the question then, the obvious question about the possibility that might be, do you really believe that a person like you'd like to have a relationship would want to be with you? And it's important to be really honest about this. And, you know, we have to separate it. We've often done a lot of work, which is really going to come in handy, about believing in possibility or having more self-worth or believing that we deserve love. And these are all things, I've talked about many of these things, and they're really important things. But it's also important to be really honest. It's like, right now, do I believe a gal like that would like me? Or if you're interested in a guy, do you believe that the guy that you want to be with, do you really believe that he would want to be with you? So that's one example. The second example is, say that you do healing work, okay? And say you want to work with people and you want to build your healing practice so you can work within the thing you're passionate about more, and maybe the less meaningful income or job that you have less. So you want to build a clientele for your healing practice. So then an obvious question around that might be, do you actually believe that people would pay you their hard-earned money for you to do healing work with them? And if you discover that you're having some challenges believing in the possibility of creating or having the things that you want to create, a second question becomes relevant. And that question is, do you do things to compensate for the fact that you don't believe that you can create the thing you want to create, or allow yourself to have the thing that you want to create? Using these same examples, if with a relationship, it's like, if I don't believe that the person that I want to be with would like me, I start doing things to get them to like me. It makes sense, right? And a lot of these things are unconscious, so I might start pushing hard or actually acting the way I think she wants me to be, which is maybe a little ingenuine. And it's not that I'm not a genuine person, but I want to close this deal, right? I want this to work, and I don't believe that they're going to naturally want to be with me. So I start doing things to get them to like me, which of course causes problems. So it's good to know about this. Now, the other example around the healing practice might be that, like, I start doing things to get people to work with me. If I don't believe that they value my healing practice, I might do things like lower my prices or give away my work for free or do special deals or trick, whatever it is, trick them into working with me. I don't know, but we start doing things that are maybe a little out of our integrity to kind of make these things happen because we don't believe they'll naturally happen on their own. Now, the other tendency might be, if I don't believe that this person will naturally like me or that people will want to give me their money for my healing practice, is we might actually start sabotaging the thing that we're trying to create. And again, we don't do this consciously. And these belief systems, they're really subtle and they go really deep. So that's when we start, either, like I said, pushing too hard for a relationship, or maybe the opposite is true, where we're more passive and we act like we're not interested, or we don't follow up, or we kind of play hard to get, or other things. This isn't my pattern, but it is some people's pattern. And then we're actually being passive or not responding, and because then it's less painful, because we don't want to accept the fact, what if I try really hard and it doesn't work, and then I get my heart broken again? Or we do things in our healing practice, that might sabotage. We don't do a business plan, or whatever it might be. So these are two things that really, we might do things to compensate, or we might do things to sabotage. And so what I'm suggesting is you look at these things, you do some work. It's the perfect time of year. It's springtime. So think about what you want to create. Ask yourself, do you really believe it's possible to have this thing in your life? And then think about if you are a little not totally believing that you can, then just think, what do I do? What's my pattern? We have this behavioral pattern. What's my pattern? Do I compensate? Do I try too hard? Do I play hard to get? Do I sabotage it in some way or another? And just look at it and be really, really honest about it. You could work with a friend, or work with a coach, or work with a counselor to kind of do some work, do some journaling, whatever you do to kind of inquire, do some self-inquiry, whatever you do to become aware of this, spend some time in it. Because once you increase your awareness about this thing, then it's much easier to steer clear of it. So then when you do approach your relationship, you know that part of you is a little iffy on actually, will this person actually like me? I'm going to feel vulnerable. And then, my tendency is to push too hard, or my tendency is to be passive and not participate enough. And then you can kind of make adjustments. And then it's not blindsiding you. It's not unconsciously sabotaging you, because you're aware of it. So anyway, that's my video blog for today. I hope that you have a great week and you start thinking about what you'd like to create in the coming year. And then you can start, looking at some of this stuff so that you can actually allow yourself to have the thing that you really want to have in your life. So anyway, thanks a lot for listening, and have a great week.